we're going to make our basil balsamic vinaigrette for our salad to go with our pasta. So I like to make my vinaigrettes in a blender because first of all, it helps us to chop everything up, and then it also helps us to emulsify the dressing, which means to mix the oil and the vinegar evenly so they don't separate. So I serve all of my vinaigrettes with shallots and garlic. Sweet or savory, it's going to add a nice depth of flavor. Okay, and then I'm going to add a little bit of whole grain mustard. We love this due south Creole mustard, and you can really see all the grains of mustard in there. So first of all, that helps to give it really good flavor, but second, it acts as an emulsifier, again, to help separate those molecules of the oil and vinegar and help them stay separated. Okay, so I'm going to use a beautiful white balsamic vinegar. If you cannot find this particular one, this is the Battistini Farms, so you can use any white balsamic or any just regular balsamic will work as well. But I like the white balsamic because you can really see the green color of the basil. It just looks so pretty. Okay, so that is all we're going to put in the blender for the moment. And I might just add a little bit of some lemon zest just to kind of help lift the flavor of our dressing. Remember, hold your zester flat on your blender and move the fruit and not the zester. Give it one smack and it all pops out the other side. All right, so let's get the lid on the blender and just whiz those ingredients up. And then with it running, I'm going to add my oil in. I'm going to drizzle that in very slowly. So I'm going to add a little bit of olive oil, but I find that if you add all olive oil, the dressing can get a little bit heavy. So I just add a little bit, probably about 2 tablespoons or so. And then the rest, I use a neutral flavored oil, which we're using a canola oil here. We're going to listen for a sound change in the blender, and that's how we're going to know that our dressing has enough oil to the point where it's emulsified. There we go. It sounds lower in pitch. It sounds kind of gurgly. So that means that the blades are having a harder time getting through the material. So that means it's a really nice thick dressing. Okay, so now we're going to add our basil. And we want to add a nice, good amount of basil to that. So just pick off your leaves off of your stems and get those into the blender. If you don't have a blender at home, you can do this by hand, just with a bowl and a whisk. It just means that you're just going to need to chop up your garlic and your shallots and your basil, and then mix everything together with your whisk, and then you're going to drizzle the oil in as you're whisking to form that emulsion. Okay, but if you have a blender, it's super duper easy. Okay, turns a beautiful bright green color. Last thing that we're going to add is salt and pepper. All right, and fresh cracked pepper. Releases all those essential oils inside, and it has a beautiful, bright, almost spicy flavor. You always want to taste, make sure our seasoning is good. If it's a little bit tart, you can try adding a little bit more salt or sugar. That's going to tone down the acidity, but we found that this white balsamic has a nice good sweetness on its own, so it's not too tart. So usually just adding a little salt and pepper, we're about perfect. So I'm going to put my salad together now. I've just toasted some pine nuts in a dry saute pan. You don't need to put any oil in there because they have enough oils in the nuts themselves. So we just want to do that over about medium-high heat until they start to turn a little bit like golden brown like that. And just make sure that you don't walk away too far because nuts can go from nice and toasty to burnt in about a second. So now let's get ready with the other components of our salad. So I always like to have something sweet, something creamy, and something crunchy. So if you always think nuts, fruit, and cheese, you have a great classic salad combo. Okay, so here's our fun party trick that we can do. Even at home, we can have a party. So we're going to put some cherry tomatoes on the back side of just a small plate, and then we're going to put another plate on top of those tomatoes. Hold it nice and tight, and then we're going to go in with a serrated knife, and we're just going to slice through all those tomatoes. It goes really, really quickly, and you can wow all your family and later on your friends. So let's dress our greens now. So in our bowl we just have a little bit of a mesclun mix. You can use whatever kind of lettuce you want or you like or you have in your house. We're just going to add a little bit of that dressing to our greens. We just want a light drizzle on top so we don't soak our greens and then get soggy greens. Now, even though our dressing was seasoned, we still need to season our greens. So just a nice little pinch of kosher salt, and again, nice, fresh, cracked black pepper. And then we're going to use our pair of tongs. We're going to lift straight up, and we're going to turn the bowl as we go. That's going to coat your greens nice and evenly. And again, you're always just doing the same motion, but getting through all the material. Okay, nice light coating. Again, we do not want to soak our greens or else they will wilt pretty quickly. All right, so we want to put a nice good pile of our greens right in the center of our plate. We always want to think of our plate as a painting, and we always need a frame on a painting. So just put those greens right in the center. We're going to put some of those nice cut up cherry tomatoes on there. Now is not quite the season for large tomatoes. Cherry tomatoes always seem to be good year round, so they're always a great bet. I have some nice fresh mozzarella pearls. If you can't find these, you can just get a ball of fresh mozzarella and just dice it up. And then last component is just going to be a little sprinkle of those delicious pine nuts. And there it is, your caprese salad with your basil balsamic vinaigrette.